Younger women hate when older men do this. 14 Habits That Kill Attraction, Psychology Tricks. You don't fall in love with someone's age, you fall in love with the way they make you feel alive. You don't lose a younger woman because you're older. You lose her the second you forget what attraction is actually responding to. A lot of men over 35 get this wrong in a quiet, self-sabotaging way. They assume youth is the currency. So they try to explain their age, soften it, joke about it, or defend it. But here's the truth. Younger women aren't automatically turned off by time. They're turned off by a certain energy that some men attach to time. You mention your age like you're asking for permission to be there. You make "I'm old" jokes, tired jokes, slow jokes, back in my day jokes. You compare yourself to younger guys like you're already behind in the race. You talk about the past like it was the last good chapter of your life. And without meaning to, you send a message that's louder than any compliment you give her. My best years are behind me. She doesn't hear experience. She feels resignation. Younger women are drawn to men who feel awake. Men with presence, direction, confidence that isn't loud, and a life that's still expanding. When you lead with nostalgia or self-deprecation, you don't come across as mature. You come across as someone who has stopped becoming. And attraction doesn't grow toward a man who sounds like he's already finished evolving. If you're an older man who wants a younger woman to feel pulled in, stop trying to justify your age. Instead, let your vibe speak. Be grounded. Be clear. Be purposeful. Bring calm strength, not apologies. Bring life, not a biography. 1. Confidence comes from being rooted in the present. Confidence comes from being rooted in the present, and that truth matters more than any clever line or expensive watch, especially when you're a man with years behind you and plenty ahead. Here's the part most men were never told. Confidence does not arrive when you pretend to be younger, faster, or trendier than you are. It shows up when you stand comfortably in your own time, your own body, your own season of life. Don't apologize for your age. Don't joke about being past your prime. Don't shrink your energy to seem harmless. That is where attraction quietly slips away. When you downplay your vitality or talk yourself into decline, you subtly ask her to reassure you, to lift you up, to take responsibility for your self-belief. Desire doesn't grow in that space. Curiosity fades when responsibility enters the room. Younger women, especially, feel this shift immediately, even if they can't name it, because female psychology is deeply tuned to emotional roles, and once you place her in the position of caretaker, the dynamic is rewritten in a way that kills romance before it has a chance to breathe. Be present, be grounded, be engaged with your life as it is now, not as it was 20 years ago or as you wish it looked on social media. You must understand that attraction isn't about chasing youth, it's about embodying aliveness. When you speak with clarity, when your posture says you belong where you are, when your choices reflect intention rather than nostalgia, something powerful happens. She relaxes. She leans in. That response isn't magic. It's psychology tricks rooted in honesty and self-respect. Men often think they need to impress with stories of the past or compete with younger men by copying their habits, but that approach backfires because it signals uncertainty. Don't compete. Commit. Commit to your rhythm, your pace, your values. That steadiness is rare, and rarity is attractive. This is how to fall in love without forcing it, by letting connection grow where there is no pressure to fix, save, or reassure. Another quiet mistake is framing your experience as baggage instead of wisdom. Don't say life has worn you down. Say it has refined you, even if only through your actions. You must let your presence communicate that you enjoy your life, that you are curious about hers, and that neither of you needs to carry the other to feel whole. Female psychology responds to men who are self-contained yet open, rooted yet playful, serious about life but light in spirit. That balance creates safety without boredom, depth without heaviness. Use psychology tricks wisely, not to manipulate, but to align your inner state with the signal you send. When your words, tone, and timing match who you truly are today, attraction feels natural instead of negotiated. This is how to fall in love in a way that lasts, by staying in the moment, by refusing to diminish yourself, and by allowing interest to remain interest, not obligation. Remember, confidence isn't loud. It's calm. It doesn't chase approval. It invites connection. Stay here. Stay now. That is the version of you that younger women respect, notice, and feel drawn to, because it speaks directly to female psychology and turns simple presence into quiet, undeniable appeal. 2. Overexplaining and seeking permission. Overexplaining and seeking permission is one of those habits that feels polite, thoughtful, even respectful on the surface, yet quietly drains attraction beneath it. You think you're being clear. You think you're being considerate. She experiences something else entirely. She feels like you're asking for approval. That is the problem. Younger women are naturally drawn to men who move with internal certainty, not because they need control, but because certainty creates ease. Don't narrate every decision. Don't defend every choice before it's even questioned. Don't explain your boundaries as if they need a committee vote. When you do that, you signal hesitation, and hesitation turns simple moments into emotional labor. Doubt is tiring to be around, no matter how logical it sounds. A high-value man doesn't rush to justify himself. He acts, then adjusts if needed. That calm decisiveness is part of what helps attract women without pressure or performance. Think of it like this. Imagine a man who orders at a restaurant and then explains the entire reason behind his choice, his health goals, his past experiences, his fear of carbs, and his hope that no one judges him. Compare that to a man who simply orders, smiles, and stays present in the conversation. Same action, completely different energy. Be the second man. Be clear. Be grounded. Masculine energy shows up in how little you need to prove. When you over-explain, you hand your power away in small pieces, and over time, those pieces add up. Younger women notice this quickly, not because they are critical, but because they are sensitive to emotional signals. They don't want to feel like they're responsible for validating your choices. That role kills attraction fast. You must understand that confidence is felt before it is understood. You can't talk your way into it. You embody it. When you say less, your words carry more weight. When you set a boundary without a long explanation, it feels solid, not cold. When you make a plan without checking for permission, it feels inviting, not controlling. That balance is key to attract women while staying authentic. A high-value man doesn't confuse silence with distance or decisiveness with rigidity. He knows when to explain and when to let his actions speak. Masculine energy is not loud. It's steady. It doesn't rush. It doesn't beg to be understood. Don't mistake clarity for overexposure. Be open, but not apologetic. Be confident, but not theatrical. That is how attraction stays alive. Overexplaining turns connection into a negotiation, and romance cannot survive constant negotiation. You must trust yourself first if you want anyone else to trust you. When you stop seeking permission to be who you are, something shifts. Conversations flow, tension softens, interest grows. This is how a high-value man naturally attracts women, not by convincing, but by standing firmly in his own choices, letting his masculine energy do the quiet work it was always meant to do. If this hit home, don't scroll past it. Act. Stop explaining yourself and start standing by your choices. Drop this in the comments right now. I move with certainty, not permission. Like the video, subscribe for more sharp psychology insights, and remind yourself every day, clarity attracts, hesitation repels. 3. Validation through overgiving. Chasing validation through overgiving is one of the fastest ways older men quietly destroy attraction without realizing it, because when you buy too much, give too fast, explain too much, or bend too often, you are not showing strength, you are signaling need, and need is never attractive. You may call it generosity, maturity, or stability, but from her side it feels like pressure, like a silent contract she never signed, and attraction cannot survive obligation. Attraction needs space, it needs restraint, it needs calm confidence. As Marcus Aurelius said, if you seek tranquility, do less. That sentence alone contains old Stoic wisdom men used to live by. Younger women are not drawn to what you give. They are drawn to how you carry yourself when you give nothing at all. They are watching your self-control, your pace, your boundaries, your ability to enjoy life without needing approval. When you overinvest early, you remove mystery. When you remove mystery, curiosity dies. This is modern life, fast messages, instant access, constant validation, and most men play the game wrong by trying to outgive time itself. Stop, slow down, let silence work for you, let patience speak. Seneca warned, "He who is eager to please everyone ends up pleasing no one." That applies directly to relationships today. You don't win attraction by trying harder. You win by standing firmer. You win by having an iron mind. You win by letting her feel that your life is already full, already moving, already complete. That is Stoicism win in real time. Give because you choose to, not because you hope. Show interest without chasing. Offer value without overloading. Lead with presence, not presence. Younger women respect men who don't rush, don't explain, don't compete, and don't prove. They feel safer with a man who knows when to hold back. They feel intrigued by a man who can enjoy the moment without trying to control the outcome. This is not about manipulation. It is about discipline. Old Stoic wisdom teaches that mastery of self is the highest form of power, and that lesson has never been more relevant than now. If you want attraction to grow, stop crowding it. If you want respect, stop purchasing it. If you want desire, let it come to you. Repeat this until it settles into your bones. Attraction grows in space, confidence grows in silence, and strength grows through restraint. Live that way. Move that way. Think that way. Build an iron mind. This is Stoicism win. This is how experienced men master modern life and walk forward already victorious. 4. Teaching instead of connecting. Teaching instead of connecting is one of those quiet habits that feels helpful on the surface but slowly drains attraction underneath. And this is where many older men lose younger women without realizing it, because experience is only magnetic when it's offered, not imposed. And the moment you slide into teacher mode, something shifts in the air. The conversation stiffens, the spark fades, and what could have been playful curiosity turns into a one-sided lesson she never asked for. Don't mistake knowledge for connection. Be careful with corrections, with long explanations, with that instinct to show her how life really works. Because every time you lecture, you step out of shared discovery and into a role that creates distance. That is not how chemistry grows. Attraction lives in curiosity, laughter, and mutual unfolding, not in authority or instruction. You must remember that younger women don't fall for resumes or life manuals. They respond to presence, energy, and how you make them feel in the moment. When you interrupt her story to improve it, when you explain her own emotions to her, or when you subtly position yourself as the final word on relationships, money, or purpose, you remove the very tension that keeps interest alive. This is where female psychology quietly speaks. She wants to feel seen, not managed, engaged, not guided, met, not molded. Psychology tricks won't save you if you miss this fundamental truth. Don't teach when you could listen. Be curious instead of corrective. That is how you stay intriguing. Notice how the most memorable conversations aren't lectures but exchanges, where both people discover something new together. If you want to understand how to fall in love at any age, start by letting go of the need to instruct and embrace the art of connection. You must allow space for her ideas to breathe, even when you think you know better, because attraction grows when she feels free to explore, not evaluated as she speaks. This is one of those psychology tricks that isn't really a trick at all. Presence beats expertise every time. Female psychology responds to warmth, playfulness, and emotional safety far more than polished advice. Don't drain the room with seriousness. Be light, be engaged, be human. When you share experience as a story instead of a lesson, when you invite her perspective instead of correcting it, you create a bond that feels natural and alive. That is how to fall in love without forcing it, without strategy, without pressure. Remember, Connection is a dance, not a classroom, and no amount of psychology tricks can replace genuine curiosity. Master this, respect female psychology, and you'll see how attraction returns when teaching steps aside and connection takes the lead, because how to fall in love is less about knowing more and more about allowing space, presence, and shared discovery to do their quiet work. 5. Emotional heaviness and unresolved pain. Emotional heaviness is one of those habits that feels sincere but quietly pushes attraction away, especially when it shows up too early. Because when you bring past heartbreaks, divorces, regrets, or long held bitterness into the first chapters of a connection, you may call it honesty, but she experiences it as weight on her shoulders, like being handed a suitcase she never packed. Don't confuse openness with unloading. Be honest, yes, but be present. That is the difference. Younger women are not avoiding depth, and that matters, but they are stepping away from unresolved pain that hasn't been processed or put in its place. They want to feel possibility, not inherit emotional debt. And when the conversation keeps circling back to what hurt you, what failed, or who disappointed you, the future starts to feel crowded before it even begins. You must understand how attraction works in real time. Early connection is about emotional direction. Is the energy moving forward or dragging backward? When your stories lean heavy, when the tone carries old disappointment, the atmosphere changes. Don't turn a first conversation into a confession booth. Be grounded instead. That is what a high-value man does. He has lived, he has learned, and he doesn't bleed on people who didn't cut him. This is how you attract women without trying to impress them. Masculine energy is calm, contained, and steady. It doesn't rush to explain pain for validation. It doesn't seek sympathy to create closeness. It creates safety by showing that the past has been handled, not hidden, but handled. There is a quiet confidence in restraint. Don't mistake emotional restraint for emotional distance. They are not the same thing. Emotional restraint says, I've been through things, and I'm still standing. Emotional heaviness says, I'm still living there. Be careful which message you send. Younger women listen with their intuition first, not just their ears. And when they sense unresolved pain, they instinctively step back, not because they lack compassion, but because they are protecting their own emotional space. That is not rejection. That is self-respect. You must respect it too. A high-value man understands timing. He knows when to share and when to simply be. If your goal is to attract women, you must lead with emotional clarity, not emotional clutter. Be light without being shallow. Be open without being overwhelming. That is masculine energy at its most attractive. It invites curiosity instead of concern. It sparks interest instead of caution. Remember, attraction grows when she feels inspired by what could be built, not burdened by what she might have to carry. Don't ask her to process your past with you. Be the man who has already done that work. That is how a high-value man naturally attracts women. That is how masculine energy creates space for connection, desire, and something new to grow without the shadow of old weight hanging in the room. 6. Fear as the hidden source. Fear is the quiet engine behind the habits that drain attraction, and once you see it, you can shut it down for good. None of these behaviors come from bad intent. They come from fear of being replaced, fear of aging, fear of losing relevance, fear of not measuring up in a fast-moving world where attention is currency and youth is marketed like a trophy. And the hard truth is this: fear always leaks. It leaks through over-explaining, through trying too hard to impress, through chasing validation, through subtle defensiveness, and through the need to prove value instead of embody it. As Marcus Aurelius warned, the tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say or think or do is not passive. It is powerful. Because the moment you stop performing, you start leading. The moment you stop auditioning, you become the prize. Younger women feel this shift instantly, not logically but emotionally, because attraction is not built on words, it's built on presence. And presence only shows up when the ego stands down. When you release the need to explain yourself, justify your past, or compete with time itself, something clicks into place. You speak less. You mean more. You move slower. You choose better. You listen without waiting to talk. And that calm certainty is rare in modern life, which is exactly why it stands out. This is old Stoic wisdom applied to today's noisy world, where confidence is quiet and strength is composed. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," and that single line explains why fear-driven habits destroy attraction long before age ever could. The mind creates threats that aren't there and reacts by grasping. And grasping repels, but grounding attracts. This is where Stoicism win becomes more than a phrase. It becomes a strategy for living. You stop trying to keep up. You start setting the pace. You stop signaling worth. You live it. You don't chase youth. You cultivate depth. And depth is magnetic, especially in a world addicted to surface. Build an iron mind, and the rest follows. Because when your inner state is solid, your outer behavior becomes effortless. You don't rush intimacy. You don't force humor. You don't seek approval. You allow space, and space creates curiosity. Repeat this until it's instinct. Fear leaks, calm leads, presence attracts. This is old Stoic wisdom again, sharpened for modern relationships. Master your reactions, master your energy, master your life. As Epictetus put it, no man is free who is not master of himself. And mastery always feels like victory, not over others, but over the noise, over the insecurity, over the impulse to prove anything at all. Live this daily, practice it relentlessly, let Stoicism win guide your choices, reinforce your iron mind, and watch how attraction begins quietly, powerfully, without effort. Because when fear is gone, you don't need tricks. You become the signal. If you made it this far, you already understand what most men never do. Attraction begins the moment fear ends. This is where performing stops and presence starts. This is where calm replaces chasing. This is where you take control. To lock this in, comment this sentence below and make it real. I release fear, I lead with calm, and I become the signal. 7. Borrowing youth instead of embodying maturity. Here's the hard truth most men never hear said clearly, so listen closely and don't flinch. One of the fastest ways older men lose attraction with younger women is not age itself, not experience, not even mistakes in conversation, but the quiet decision to borrow youth instead of embodying maturity. The moment a man starts adjusting his voice, copying slang that doesn't fit his life, adopting opinions he formed 5 minutes ago, or chasing trends he doesn't genuinely enjoy, something subtle breaks. Be honest. Younger women feel it immediately. They may not call it out, but they sense the misalignment. That is not confidence. That is performance. And performance never builds real attraction. Don't mirror her taste too fast. Don't rush to prove you get it. Don't trade depth for approval. You must understand this. Attraction isn't created by appearing young. It's created by being grounded. When a man reshapes himself just to look relevant, he stops being solid. He becomes reactive. And female psychology is remarkably sensitive to that shift. Younger women aren't looking for a peer pretending to be 25. They're drawn to a man who is comfortable with who he is, where he stands, and what he values. That stability feels rare. That calm feels safe. That certainty is magnetic. This is one of those psychology tricks that works precisely because it isn't a trick at all. Be steady, be clear, be yourself without apology. When you embody maturity, you give her something she doesn't find easily among men her own age: perspective, presence, and emotional control. That is how attraction grows naturally. This is also how to fall in love in a way that lasts, because love doesn't attach to masks. It attaches to consistency. When you chase youth, you signal insecurity without meaning to. When you stand in your experience, you signal leadership without trying. Don't confuse effort with value. Don't think more adaptation equals more desire. It doesn't. Desire grows when a woman feels she can relax into your frame instead of watching you scramble to fit into hers. Female psychology responds to confidence that doesn't announce itself. That is why the man who speaks calmly, chooses his words, and stays aligned with his own rhythm often leaves a deeper impression than the man trying to be impressive. These psychology tricks aren't about manipulation, they're about understanding human nature. If you want to know how to fall in love without losing yourself, start here. Stop borrowing youth, start embodying maturity. That shift alone changes how women see you, how conversations unfold, and how attraction quietly, steadily, and powerfully takes root. 8. Competing with younger men. Here's a mistake that quietly drains attraction, and most men never realize they're doing it while it's happening. Competing with younger men, talking about them, judging them, pointing out their immaturity, their shortcuts, their lack of discipline, comparing yourself out loud. You think you're clarifying the difference. You think you're showing experience, but don't miss what's really being communicated. When you criticize younger men she didn't bring up, you aren't elevating yourself. You're placing yourself in a race no one asked you to run. That is where attraction slips away. Not loudly, quietly. Be aware of this. A high-value man doesn't need to announce why he's valuable. He lets his presence do the work. The moment you compete verbally, she doesn't hear confidence. She hears tension. She hears comparison. And comparison always hints at insecurity, even when the words sound reasonable. Don't explain why you're better. Be better in silence. That is masculine energy at its cleanest. Think about it this way. When a man walks into a room already relaxed in who he is, he doesn't scan the room for rivals. He doesn't measure himself against younger men, fitter men, louder men. He simply occupies his space. That calm steadiness is what attracts women. When you speak negatively about younger men, you're unintentionally telling her that they live in your head. That is not power. That is distraction. And women pick up on that fast. If you want to attract women, you must stop narrating your value. Let it be obvious through your choices, your tone, your pace, and how you handle silence. Don't rush to prove experience. Experience shows itself when you don't need applause. There's another layer most men miss. Younger women are not looking for someone who resents the men their age. They're looking for someone who transcends the comparison entirely. When you mock youth, you sound stuck in it. When you criticize immaturity, you appear reactive to it. That reaction weakens your frame. Be grounded instead. Be amused, not bothered. That emotional distance is a signature of a high-value man. Masculine energy is not loud. It's settled. It doesn't argue with what exists. It chooses where to place attention. Don't compete with ghosts. Don't shadowbox with men who aren't in the conversation. Be the man who doesn't need to look sideways to feel solid. That is how you attract women without forcing it. That is how respect builds before desire even speaks. A high-value man understands this instinctively. When you stop competing, you start leading. And when you lead quietly, attraction follows without effort, explanation, or comparison. 9. Control disguised as care. Control disguised as care is one of the fastest ways older men quietly lose the interest of younger women, and it usually happens without bad intentions, without raised voices, without drama, but with devastating precision. When you step into the role of protector too early, you stop being a partner and start sounding like a manager, and no attraction survives that shift. You warn too often, you explain too much, you correct small decisions, you offer advice before she asks. You tell yourself you're helping, yet what she feels is pressure, limitation, and a shrinking of her space. Younger women today are raised in a world that rewards independence, choice, and self-direction. And the moment she senses that her freedom is being supervised instead of respected, something inside her closes, silently, permanently, without a fight, without a second chance. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. And in modern relationships, the injury is not cruelty, it's overreach. Attraction thrives on mutual respect, not correction, on curiosity, not control, and on presence, not prediction. When you constantly try to shield her from mistakes, you rob her of growth. And when you rob her of growth, you rob the connection of oxygen. Desire is fueled by two complete adults choosing each other freely, not by one guiding the other like a fragile object. This is where Old Stoic wisdom becomes practical power, because Stoicism teaches restraint, timing, and inner authority. Not interference, not micromanagement, not hovering concern. When you embody that restraint, you project calm confidence that no lecture ever can. Epictetus warned, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. And what you must be here is grounded, centered, and self-governed, not reactive to her choices, not threatened by her independence, not eager to prove your experience at every turn. In modern life, where information is everywhere and women are fully capable of navigating careers, finances, and risks, unsolicited guidance feels less like wisdom and more like doubt. And doubt kills attraction faster than silence ever will. If she asks, you speak clearly and decisively. If she doesn't, you hold your ground and let your life be the example, because leadership is demonstrated, not announced. This is how Stoicism win moments are created, by mastering the urge to interfere, by trusting that strength doesn't need to tighten its grip, and by allowing space instead of filling it with instructions. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free," and freedom is exactly what she must feel around you. Freedom to choose, freedom to fail, freedom to succeed without supervision. When you cultivate an iron mind, you stop reacting emotionally to her decisions and start responding with calm presence. And that presence becomes magnetic because it signals confidence, maturity, and self-command. Repeat this truth until it settles into your bones. Attraction fades when care becomes control. Attraction grows when respect becomes visible. Attraction stays when autonomy is protected. This is not about withholding interest. It's about offering trust. Not about being distant, but about being secure. Old Stoic wisdom reminds us that mastery begins within. Stoicism win is achieved when you lead yourself first. An iron mind keeps you steady while others overextend. Do this consistently, and you don't chase attraction, you create it. You don't manage her choices, you inspire confidence. You don't lose connection loudly, you build it quietly, powerfully, and on your terms. If you're still watching, it means you caught something most men miss. Attraction doesn't die from a lack of care, it dies when care turns into control. This is the moment where awareness becomes power, where you decide to stop managing and start respecting, to stop hovering and start leading yourself. Don't let this insight fade. Lock it in. Make it real. Go to the comments and write this sentence exactly as it is. I lead with respect, not control, and attraction follows. Saying it is a signal. Owning it is the shift. 10. Overavailability and loss of polarity. Overavailability is one of those quiet habits that feels generous on the surface, but slowly drains attraction underneath, and many men never notice it happening. Always replying the second a message comes in, always saying yes, always reshuffling your schedule to fit hers, always being emotionally open instantly, completely, without pause. That may feel caring, but to a younger woman, it often feels flat. Don't confuse access with connection. Consistency matters, yes, but mystery matters too. When you remove all friction, you remove polarity, and without polarity, there is no spark. Attraction feeds on contrast. It needs space to breathe. Be present, but don't be predictable. Be interested, but don't dissolve your own rhythm to match hers. That is where many men lose ground without realizing it. Female psychology responds to emotional strength expressed through balance, not constant availability. When you are always there, always agreeable, always reachable, the dynamic becomes one-dimensional, and one-dimensional dynamics don't invite desire. You must remember that attraction isn't built through effort alone. It's built through tension that feels safe and intriguing. That's one of the most misunderstood psychology tricks in modern dating. Younger women don't wake up wanting distance, but they instinctively respond to a man who has a full life, a clear pace, and the confidence to say, "Not right now," without apology. Don't rush every reply. Don't over-explain your feelings. Don't volunteer your time as if it has no weight. Be warm, but be grounded. Be kind, but be selective. That balance signals self-respect, and self-respect is deeply attractive within female psychology. When you give everything immediately, you leave no room for curiosity. And curiosity is a key ingredient in how to fall in love. Attraction grows in the pause between messages, in the moment she wonders what you're doing, in the space where anticipation lives. Use psychology tricks wisely, not manipulatively, but intentionally. Let your availability reflect your standards. Let your presence feel chosen, not automatic. This isn't about playing games, it's about honoring polarity. Masculine energy at any age is calm, centered, and self-directed. When you embody that, younger women don't feel smothered, they feel drawn in. Female psychology responds to a man who stands comfortably in his own life and invites her into it instead of rearranging everything around her. That is how to fall in love without forcing it. That is how attraction stays alive over time. Remember, psychology tricks are not about control. They are about understanding human nature. Keep your mystery, keep your pace, keep your center. Attraction will follow. 11. Urgency and pressure. Urgency is one of those habits that hides behind good intentions but quietly erodes attraction. And for older men dating younger women, it can be the fastest way to shut a door before it ever opens. Rushing connection, pushing commitment, trying to define the relationship too early, wanting certainty before trust has had time to form. It often comes from fear, not desire. The fear of losing her to time, to options, to someone else who seems younger or flashier. Don't confuse speed with confidence. Urgency feels like pressure, even when your words sound sincere. Pressure makes attraction tighten instead of expand. That is the core mistake. A high-value man understands that interest grows best when it isn't chased down and cornered. He doesn't rush emotional milestones. He lets moments unfold. He allows silence to do some of the work. That calm patience signals masculine energy in a way no speech ever could. Younger women don't respond to timelines, they respond to presence. Be steady, be relaxed, be grounded in who you are and where your life is going. That energy alone does more to attract women than any promise of commitment made too soon. Think of attraction like a slow-burning fire, not a microwave meal. When you keep opening the door to check if it's hot enough, you let the heat escape. Urgency does the same thing. It interrupts momentum. It turns curiosity into caution. You must understand that desire grows when a woman feels free to choose, not subtly rushed to decide. A high-value man doesn't ask, "Where is this going?" before the connection has learned how to walk. He shows consistency without clinging, interest without insistence. That balance is masculine energy expressed through restraint. Don't push for labels. Don't rush exclusivity. Don't try to secure the outcome before the experience has had time to deepen. Be confident enough to let attraction develop naturally. That confidence is exactly what helps attract women, especially younger ones who are sensitive to emotional pressure. They may not explain it directly, but they feel it immediately. When you slow down, when you trust the process, when you allow space instead of urgency, attraction has room to grow stronger, not thinner. That is what separates a high-value man from someone who is simply trying too hard. Masculine energy is calm. It is patient. It knows that what is real does not need to be forced. If you want to attract women and keep their interest, you must trade urgency for presence, pressure for patience, and fear for self-trust. That shift alone changes everything. 12. Entitlement masquerading as interest. Entitlement disguised as interest is one of the fastest ways attraction collapses, and most men never see it coming. Yet younger women sense it immediately because attraction is emotional before it is logical. The moment a man believes his age, resources, or experience should earn desire, his presence changes. His tone tightens, his patience shrinks. What once felt calm now feels transactional. True attraction is invited, never assumed. And as Mark Twain warned, what gets us into trouble is not what we don't know. It's what we know for sure that just ain't so. This is where many men slip, thinking stability creates desire, when in reality it only creates potential, and potential must still be activated through humility, curiosity, and restraint. Attraction is built in the space where nothing is demanded, only offered. When a man leads with expectation, even subtly, the interaction loses its lightness. The mystery drains. The woman feels pressure rather than possibility. This is why Old Stoic wisdom teaches mastery over the self before mastery over outcomes, reminding us that control over others is an illusion, but control over one's energy is power. In modern life, where women have options, independence, and awareness, entitlement reads as insecurity wearing a confident mask. Not strength, not leadership, not value. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Attraction dies not because of age gaps or differences, but because of internal assumptions projected outward. So the instruction is simple and uncompromising. Remove expectation, remove scorekeeping, remove the silent belief that you are owed interest. The moment you expect, you stop observing, you stop listening, you stop adapting. Attraction demands presence, not performance. Curiosity, not credentials. Calm confidence, not subtle pressure. This is where Stoicism win becomes a lifestyle, not a slogan. The man with an iron mind does not chase validation. He does not trade favors for attention. He does not lead with what he provides. He leads with who he is, grounded, amused, unattached to outcomes. And paradoxically, that detachment creates desire because it signals abundance of self, not need. The modern man who wins understands this deeply. He treats attraction as a shared discovery, not a reward system. He allows interest to rise naturally or fall freely without resistance. That emotional freedom is magnetic. As Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. The man who is free from entitlement is free to attract, free to walk away, free to remain centered. That is the victory. Mastery over impulse, mastery over assumption, mastery over self. Because attraction grows where respect lives, and respect begins the moment you expect nothing and offer your best anyway, again and again. Through Old Stoic wisdom, through Stoicism win, through the discipline of an iron mind. Calm, patient, unshaken. If this message hit home, give the video a like and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more psychology and attraction wisdom. Comment to remember, I choose confidence over entitlement, and attraction follows naturally. Tell me in the comments if you agree. Real attraction is invited, never demanded. 13. Living in the past instead of momentum. Living too much in the past is one of those quiet habits that drains attraction without making a sound, and it often sneaks in disguised as confidence or experience. But here's the truth. You're not sharing memories. You're anchoring your identity to a version of yourself that no longer exists, and younger women can feel that weight instantly. They respect history, yes, but they respond to motion, not monuments. So when your stories circle endlessly around what you used to do, who you used to be, or how things used to work, the message lands differently than you intend, because instead of strength, it signals stagnation, and instead of wisdom, it feels like retreat. Don't confuse legacy with relevance. Be clear about this. Attraction is powered by direction. That is why female psychology responds so strongly to men who are building, refining, exploring, and still curious about life. You must understand that momentum is magnetic. A man moving forward creates emotional gravity, while a man living backward slowly repels it, even if his past was impressive. Younger women don't hate your experiences. They disconnect from your attachment to them. They want to feel like they're stepping into a story that's still being written, not rereading a finished chapter. Don't lead with, back when? Lead with next. Be present, be engaged, be invested in who you are becoming right now. That is one of the most underrated psychology tricks in attraction, showing that your future matters more to you than your highlight reel. In female psychology, desire grows where growth is visible, and emotional curiosity ignites when a man demonstrates purpose that's unfolding, not concluded. This even ties into how to fall in love, because love forms more easily when both people feel they're moving towards something together, not orbiting someone else's memories. You don't need to erase your past. You need to stop living inside it. Reference it lightly, then pivot forward. Use it as context, not a crutch. Talk about what excites you now, what challenges you, what you're learning, and what you're building next. That forward energy activates the same internal responses described in psychology tricks that create intrigue and emotional pull. Female psychology is deeply attuned to emotional trajectory, and when your trajectory is alive, attraction follows naturally. This is how to fall in love without forcing it, by being a man in motion, grounded but not frozen, experienced but not finished, confident yet still evolving. Don't cling, don't linger. Be moving, be becoming. That is the difference between being respected and being desired, and that difference changes everything. 14. Emotional flatness and predictability. Emotional flatness is one of the most misunderstood habits that quietly drains attraction, especially for men who believe that being endlessly calm and reasonable is the ultimate sign of maturity. Always controlled, always neutral, always predictable. That sounds safe, but safety alone does not spark desire. Younger women don't respond to emotional silence. They respond to emotional presence. Don't confuse steadiness with stillness. Be clear about this. Emotional range is not chaos. That is vitality. When your reactions never change, when your tone never lifts, when your energy never shifts, the connection starts to feel like a quiet room with no music playing. Respect may remain, but attraction slowly fades. A high-value man is not emotionally numb. He is emotionally alive and grounded at the same time. He can laugh deeply, pause thoughtfully, speak with conviction, and still remain centered. You must allow yourself to express humor, passion, curiosity, and even intensity without apology, because that variation signals confidence and authenticity, not instability. Predictability works for routines, not for desire. When every response is expected, every conversation feels pre-written, and every moment lands the same way, interest begins to drift. Younger women are drawn to masculine energy that feels real, textured, and responsive. That doesn't mean mood swings. It means presence. It means reacting honestly instead of filtering everything through restraint. Be expressive. Be intentional. Be engaged. A man who knows when to be playful, when to be serious, when to be quiet, and when to lean in emotionally creates contrast, and contrast is powerful. That is how you attract women without chasing them. Emotional range makes interactions memorable. Flatness makes them forgettable. A high-value man understands that leadership is emotional as much as logical, and connection grows when emotions are felt, not hidden behind permanent composure. Here's the deeper truth most men miss. Emotional predictability removes tension, and tension, when healthy, is what creates spark. Younger women don't want drama, but they do want depth. They want to feel something shift when they enter the room. They want to sense that your attention sharpens, your energy adjusts, your presence responds. That responsiveness is masculine energy in action. Don't mute yourself to appear controlled. Be calm when calm is needed. Be passionate when passion fits. Be humorous when the moment opens the door. That flexibility signals confidence and emotional intelligence. You must understand this if you want to attract women consistently and naturally. Emotional life creates emotional connection. Stillness has its place, but motion creates pull. A high-value man doesn't perform emotions, he allows them. And when masculine energy flows instead of freezes, attraction doesn't need to be forced. It simply happens. Hey, my friend, thanks for staying with me till the end. Let me leave you with something real and simple. Attraction isn't about tricks, age, or trying to impress anyone. It's about growth. When a man keeps learning, training his body, sharpening his mind, and building emotional strength, people feel it. You don't have to chase attention anymore. Your energy speaks before you do. So be honest with yourself. Are you pushing forward, or are you just getting comfortable and calling it peace? Here's my sincere advice. Stop focusing on how to keep someone interested and start focusing on becoming a stronger version of yourself every single day. When you choose growth over comfort, the right people naturally show up and the wrong habits fall away. Now tell me in the comments, honestly, today, are you living from growth or from comfort? If this message touched something real inside you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with one man who needs to hear it before he keeps making the same mistakes without ever knowing why.